If you have a small team, yet you want to continue to grow your trade pro or contractor business and take it to the next level, then it's important to look at what are the strategies that are going to allow you to play big as a small team and become even more effective at driving sales and revenue while remaining lean. Now, the tips I'm going to share with you in a moment come from working with trade pro and contractor businesses since 2017, where we specialized and have a proven track record for helping companies to 2x and 3x their revenue in 12 to 18 months. The insights I'm going to share with you here really represent a few of the biggest levers when it comes to driving growth. One other quick note before I get into sharing the tips would be that at this point, or before you dive into digging in and putting these things into action that I'm going to share with you, is you're going to want to have already established a clear growth goal. And if you want to keep that simple, it's really, what are you looking to accomplish, by when, and why? What's the motivation, purpose, and drivers behind wanting to achieve, let's say, going from 3.5 to 5 million in 18 months, so that your team can get aligned on where are we going, when are we going to get there, and why are we doing this, right? So that's very high level, something that you should have in place before you start to look at applying the things I'm going to share with you in a moment. And then once you gain insight to these things, they're really there to help you maximize your bandwidth and resources. It'll also help to provide a greater focus on what are the areas of the business that you should be looking at that are really going to help to move the needle the most and give you the biggest return on your investment of your time, money, and energy towards increasing sales and revenue. All right, let's jump into it. So tip number one, everybody in the organization needs to impact the 3 laws of growth. And if you're not familiar with them, the 3 laws are: number 1, increasing the volume of leads that the business gets; number 2, increasing the average deal size; and number 3, increasing lifetime value of every customer. Now, it's probably something you're already familiar with. The key here is that everybody in the company, regardless of size, needs to have ownership over impacting one or more of these 3 laws. While I'm not able to give you a cookie cutter framework here, because every business is different, the structure of your team is different, what I'd like you to think about is doing an assessment. Keeping it simple, you want to look at how each team member can be responsible for 3 to 5 actions that, when done consistently, influence one or more of the 3 laws of growth. You're also going to want to look at who outside of your current team can you leverage to increase the volume of leads you get, increase average deal size, and increase, if possible, and that's the hardest one in the home services and in the trades, is increasing lifetime value. We'll get into this a little bit later in terms of how to find people outside of the organization and really what the key there is closer to the end of the video. Tip number 2 is you need to look at mastering the math of growth. Understanding and leveraging the math behind driving sales and revenue is crucial for growth. Once your team understands their role in impacting the 3 laws, really what should come next is getting a clear understanding of your numbers. So for example, you want to be asking yourself questions like, how many leads do I get on a given month, week, or day? What's the current average deal size that we're working with? Of the leads that we do get, how many of those are turning into quotes? Of the quotes we get, how many of those are turning into jobs or won contracts? How long does it take for us to get back to a lead when they do come to us? And then from there, you want to go further down the conversion hole, looking at how many times do we follow up with leads in our pipeline? And when we're taking proactive efforts, how many calls are we making to potential B2B prospects, for example? There's a lot more than that. That's just to give you a handful of things that you want to be exploring and an understanding of the things you want to be looking at when you're getting an understanding of your numbers and the math that you need to be continuously working towards in order to hit your targets and your goals. So once you have a clear understanding of your current numbers, then next you need to run the numbers to get a clear understanding of what are the benchmarks and targets we need to have in place in order to hit our growth goal. Understanding where we are, where we need to get to, and what's the gap. And then we want to be consistently striving to improve in each of those areas or metrics, right? On a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, we're looking at getting 5% faster in terms of our lead response time. We want to increase our conversion rate in terms of the number of quotes we get, converting them into jobs or contracts won. And so you want to consistently be incrementally improving in all of those categories to compound and drive growth and take your business to a whole nother level. Tip number 3 is to optimize capacity and resource utilization. And what I'm getting at here is we want to take the time to uncover and identify each of our team members' unique strengths. What are their unique strengths, skills, capabilities, and then look at freeing up their capacity by buying back their time. So looking at, are they, stuck doing a lot of administrative work, busy work, and how can we get that off their plate? Can we delegate it to somebody else? Can we outsource that? Can we find a productized service that handles this specific set of tasks so that they can get to focusing on what they do best? And then from there, you really want to align their strengths with the critical actions that they need to take consistently to impact the laws that they own. That's really tying this all together. Really, when we look at freeing up our team's capacity, if you're in a place where your team is just all hands on deck, all of their time is spoken for, then that's where it really is important to buy back their time. And you can do that in a number of different ways. You can find, your sales team virtual assistants. You could outsource estimating, for example. Here's an area where there isn't one cookie cutter way of doing things, and getting really creative is important. But a really simple and straightforward thing to look at is, what can we outsource? Either the things that we don't have capacity for, or the things that we don't have the capabilities to execute at a high level. And this is really something that I find is often overlooked and underutilized, is looking at how can we build a supporting team that's not in-house, right? We live in a global marketplace for talent. And so that's looking at, where can we find supporting staff to handle administrative things through VAs, virtual assistants, finding marketing specialists, social media specialists, a team to help with sales or customer support. And having access to global talent often means that we can find fantastic talent at a fraction of the cost of hiring somebody in-house and full-time. That's really going to allow you to amplify your team's capabilities and capacities, and then fill the gaps of the capabilities that your existing team doesn't have. So the key here really is to avoid the trap of thinking that you have to be the one to figure this all out, that you need to know how you're going to increase lead volume or average deal size, and look to skip the trial and error. What you really want to spend more time doing is figuring out, what do I need to do? Who do I need to talk to or discover to invest in gaining access to the knowledge and expertise that you can leverage and then give to your outsourced team or your in-house team as well, but to give them the blueprint to execute. We're going to be sharing in upcoming videos many of the strategies, tactics, and proven playbooks. So this will be a great resource. I highly recommend that you subscribe to this channel so that you can gain access to that knowledge and leverage that. All right, so that's a wrap. I hope you found this helpful. And what I'd love for you to do is, in the comments below, leave what was your biggest takeaway about how you can play big as a small team. So I'd love to see you in the comments section. I'll meet you there, and I'll talk to you guys soon.